Personal power. That is what this episode is all about. I'm here in Thailand, oh my goodness, with the living legend, Mr. Jim Francis.
Yes.
We're actually going to take you behind the scenes now and actually take you into a session that has taken place here in Thailand. Jim, what is the session all about and how can this help my amazing audience go and make more money?
Well, it's really about personal power. And when you think about personal power, we all have beliefs that support us or hold us back. And some of that is the way that we talk to ourselves. I call it duck talk and eagle talk. And you want to make sure you have eagle talk because that will propel you forward and get to your dreams and your goals. And you want to kill some of that duck talk, those negative beliefs. And this session is really about how to do that.
Great. So look, this is part one. Come with us now and we're going to take you into the mastermind room.
For some of you have it, we need to do the SBA Principle. And what does the SBA Principle stand for? Number one, strategies. You have to have strategies, methodology, systems, processes to get to wealth, to get to health, to get to a positive mindset. Next piece is that you have to have the right belief systems. How many people here have some negative thoughts or some negative belief systems? Put your hands up nice and high. Well, it should be everybody, right? Should we try to destroy those over the next 5 days? Yes, right? So we want to kill some of the negatives to build the positive pieces with respect to that. And we have negative belief systems about different things, right? We have negative belief systems about wealth. We have negative belief systems about speaking. We have negative belief systems about selling. And towards the end of my session, and we did this last year, but I think it's worthwhile, is to go through the 5 steps to get rid of a belief. You guys that were here last year, should we do that again? Yeah, no question, right? So we'll kind of go through that towards the end. So we do want to kill negative belief systems. So strategies first, belief systems second, and then of course, the major thing for me that I really separates the successful people from the not successful people is doing what? Taking action, right? So we definitely want to make sure that we take action with respect to our life. And success kind of leaves clues, right? One of those clues is what Adam talks about, which is the velocity of speed, right? How quickly you act. Have you heard Adam say that before? Yes. We want to make sure that we're acting when? Fast, right? In fact, I say it kind of a different way. What I say is, in life, there is the quick and the dead. How many people want to be the quick? How many people want to be the dead? Well, it's the velocity of which you act. So if you get a concept or an idea out of these next 5 days, when should you implement them? Right away, immediately, right? In fact, the faster you implement them, the faster you're going to get to success. Does that make sense to everybody? And let me give you an example of that, right? So I have a book here, and there's a sales book here. There's a sales book on this. I'm not going to come to you, Charlie. You're close. There you go. Very good, right? If you act quick, you'll get a reward, right? And that is about life, guys. You know, in terms of it, when you get an idea or a concept, you shouldn't wait about it. What should you do? Take action immediately. Does that make sense to everybody? Makes more than sense, makes pounds, right? So we definitely want to make sure we realize there's the quick and the dead, right? Who wants to be the quick? Right? Then you've got to take action with respect to it. And there are some specific habits that the successful people do. Would you like to know what they are? If you would, say, oh yeah. Okay. So personal books. When you think about personal books, and I'm not talking about fiction, I'm talking about nonfiction books, there are some really specific statistics about the poor people and the rich people, right? Poor people, less than 2% read non-fictional books. That's a pretty outstanding statistic, would you agree? Yeah, well, it gets better that the wealthy people read at least one non-fiction book 30 minutes a day. Now, I didn't say 30 minutes a month. What did I say? 30 minutes a day. By the way, I kind of believe that books are really important, that definitely can give you the concepts and ideas, but you will have questions and you need to make sure you've got a coach to go along with the book. Does that make sense? Otherwise, librarians would be the richest people in the world. Okay? So we definitely want to make sure we're reading on a regular basis, taking those concepts and applying them over time. Networking. Adam said this a little bit earlier, right? In terms of networking, less than 16% of poor people do networking 5 hours or less. Okay? That means that the rich people do a lot of networking, 5 hours or more per week, right? Did you hear Adam say this a little bit earlier? What did he say? Relationship capital is more important than financial capital. And I believe that to be true. The partnerships I've had, the relationships I've built are more important than the money I've earned. Take away all the money, the relationships are still there, and I'm still going to build the wealth again. Does that make sense to everybody? Makes more sense, makes pounds. So, as an action step, what should we be thinking about doing? Networking 5 hours a week. Is everybody with me? Right? If we spend that time networking, building the relationships, whether it's here or back in the UK or wherever we're going, we definitely will have the benefit of that if we take that action, right? Relationship capital is more important than financial capital. TV, interesting. How many people watch TV? Hannah, I know you don't watch TV anymore because of me, right? She actually moved to a place there is no TV, right? Yeah, no couch either, yeah. So it's interesting, the poor, watch TV more than 1 hour a day, right? In fact, 70-odd%. 23% watch TV less than 1 hour. 67% of the people who are rich, who are wealthy, watch less than 1 hour a day. Okay? I do not like to watch TV very often. I will put a movie on in the background, but I actually don't watch it as I'm doing my work on my computer, just for it to have their voice, right? I do the same thing, right? So we want to make sure that we don't let the TV do what? Steal our dreams, right? Would you agree? Right? Because it can steal your dreams because that time is wasted time. And Adam's going to talk a little bit about time management. And part of time management is getting a not-to-do list as well as a to-do list. So we definitely want to make sure that we realize this. So habits of the wealthy are really important. Reality TV, anybody watch reality TV? And it shouldn't, right? 78% of the people who are poor watch reality TV. Less than 6% of the rich and wealthy watch reality TV, which kind of means if you're watching rich house, poor house, right, you're probably in a poor house, right? No disrespect to Adam, wherever you are. I know you were on the TV, not watching the TV, right? So we definitely want to make sure we're not watching any of that. Yeah, there you go. He's doing research, right? Right? When it comes to education, after high school and university, 5% of the poor population get no further education. That is a pretty dramatic statistic, right? 86% of the people who are wealthy or rich get further education after university. Now, how do I know that to be true? Because most of you have done that further education, right? So we definitely want to make sure that we're investing in ourselves with respect to that. 12% of the poor have less than 12% have goals. And while at the other side, 80% of the people who are successful in life, who have wealth, and wealth, by the way, what's the definition of wealth? £1 million or greater, right? 80% have goals. So should we, over the next 4 or 5 days, work on some of our goals, right? How many people here would like to do a technique for visualization so they can see themselves accomplishing their goals in the next year? If you would, put your hands up nice and high. Well, that's good, because I'm planning on doing that on day 5, right? Workout, Nick, you know this, 23%, of the poor work out. Well, 76% of the rich work out, right? It's reminding me I need to work out pretty soon, right? So there are some good habits. In fact, these are a list of the positive good habits. Just with respect to your notes, by the way, I am going to give you a PDF copy of what I'm doing here. So take major notes, don't worry about the minor notes. Is everybody with me here? So we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about meditation and relaxation, and I believe in the box breathing method. I'd also like to guide you through some meditation on day 5. Would that be pretty cool? Maybe to get rid of a negative belief system and have an empowering belief system, or maybe to visualize where you're going to be in the next year. Would anybody besides myself like to do that? Yes, there we go, all right? We are going to spend a little bit of time breaking through some fears, right? So for some of you, you have broken a board before. For some of you others, you haven't. So we're going to have a kind of a breakthrough experience. And when we do this, I want to make sure that's impactful for you, besides the impact. And that is, we're going to talk a little bit about our goals and our dreams and what holds us back, right? And this is going to be a metaphor for you having a personal breakthrough, right? For the people who've been here before who have done it, you should be pretty excited, because guess what you're going to get an opportunity to do? Work on your goals and dreams again, but you're also going to do it a little bit differently, right? And you're either going to do 2 boards, which will be really challenging, or you're going to, anybody see the video of expert speaker and Josh, right? Did you see Josh breaking the board with his head, right? So you 6 or 7 people, if you want to, can break it with your head, right? And anybody can break a board, right? We'll go through some of the belief systems. We are going to break through some fears, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the fears that are holding you back in business, the fears that are holding you back in life, challenge those and break through them so we can get to whatever our dreams and goals are. Anybody read the book Think and Grow Rich? If you read the book Think and Grow Rich, he talks about there being 2 masters in life. The first master is fear, and the second master is faith. Which of the 2 do you want to follow? Do you want to follow the fear piece or the faith piece? Definitely the faith piece, because that's going to get you your dreams and your goals. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Networking, definitely, no TV, those kind of habits. Does anybody here has heard me speak about man at work versus assets at work? So there's 4 or 5 of you. That means the rest haven't. Would it be okay for those people who have already heard this for me to refresh you again with respect to it? Okay, good. So when you think about life and you think about making shifts in life, and that's really what we're talking about, I kind of believe there is the 40-40-40 plan and the 7-7-7 plan, right? And really you want to work the 7-7-7 plan, not the 40-40-40 plan. 40-40 stands for what? 40 hours a week for 40 years, only to live on 40%. 7-7-7 stands for 7 major areas over the next 7 years to get to 7 figures. 7 figures is £1 million or greater. How many people kind of think that the 7-7-7 plan is better than the 40-40, right? Challenge is most people don't realize, right, that they begin, and when they begin at man at work, right? So we all go to school, and then what do? Get a job, right? And then we go to work, right? Is that the plan to be successful? Not really. Right? Because if you look at the statistics at age 67, you know, I mean, literally 22% of the population must continue to work at age 67. 28% look after the government, 45% depend on family to look after them, 4% meet the basic needs in life, and only 1% are truly financially independent, right? Which means we have to do something else besides working for a living. And then, of course, you know, I don't want to exclude the women, so let's put women at work too, right? Give him a bit of an address, right? And then we get this great idea, hey, you know what I'll do? I'll become self-employed. So we become self-employed, we put that big S on our chest, right? And I spent a fortune for these skills, right? And become self-employed, and of course, that's how we become successful. What's the challenge when we become self-employed in many cases? We're trading time for money. It's not the true definition of a business. The true definition of a business is the box works without you, right? The black box, whatever it is, you work in it for a little bit, 6 months to 12 months, and then what you do is you scale and get out of it. Does that make sense? In fact, my number 1 belief when it comes to business is you must work on the business, not in the business. It's the reason I went from working really hard, making $900,000 in my seminar business first year, to making $12 million my next year and not working in the business. I could walk away and it drove off cash. How many people want to get to that level? Then you as a mindset piece must have the objective of 6 months to 12 months from now, divorcing yourself from the business so it works, and then you do something else. Whether that's enjoy life or build another business, that's entirely up to you. But that number 1 belief system should empower you. That number 1 belief system should make sure you're not tied to the business, you're not in the quicksand, getting sucked into the business all the time. Is everybody with me here? Right? So as a belief system, I would suggest, right, that you want to write down for business, the number 1 belief system is work what? On the business, not in the business, okay? Which means you need to step away from it. Now there's 4 things that hold you back here. I'll talk about those on day 5 with respect to it. But what we want to do is we want to work the 7-7-7 plan. So let me kind of give you the pieces you need to work on. Number 1 is you want to work on me. And what does me stand for? Me, but what else does it stand for? Mentorship and education. Definitely want to get strategies and techniques to improve ourselves as an asset. We are our most valuable asset, whether that's learning business skills, or whether that's learning, wealth skills in terms of property, whatever that might be. In fact, I kind of believe there's 3 critical ingredients you need to work on in terms of me. Would you like to know what they are? If you would, say, oh yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. So the number 1 thing is self-talk. We all have positive and negative self-talk. I'm going to call this the wow effect, which I'll talk about a little bit later on, right? We want to make sure that the self-talk is positive, not negative. Does that make sense? Makes more sense, makes pounds, right? Number 2 is we definitely want to learn the skill of influence. Your ability to sell, right, yourself, your ability to sell products and services, your ability to bring that skill set to marketing is a critical ingredient. And sometimes, for a number of people, they have negative belief systems about sales. Is there anyone here that has negative belief systems about sales? Put your hands up, right? Nice and high. By the way, this is the Hitler salute. This is nice and high, okay? Right? Nice. Yeah, there you go. That's a good thing, right? But definitely we want to make sure we have the ability to influence, whether that's in a marketing video, a sales process where we're talking to people. It's definitely one of the major skills. By the way, we want to sell to ourselves. We want to sell ourselves on the concepts and ideas that we're implementing. Does that make sense? Right? I mean, I believe every single one of you here is worth £1 million gross a year in terms of sales performance or greater. Now, some of you are there already, so maybe it's 10 million for you. There is no limitation except the limitation we put in our own head. How do I know that to be true? Because I had limitations and I overcame those limitations, right? One of them was going from 900 grand to 12 million the next year, 26 the next year, 46 the next year, and 108 million. That would have never happened if I had believed my negative belief systems. Is everybody with me here? Who has belief systems about speaking? I know that was a topic we talked about earlier, right? Right? Some of those belief systems are positive and some of them are what? Negative. So we need to kind of change some of those negatives. Now, Adam's going to do a great piece on speaking and presenting. I might jump up a little bit and help a little bit, but we definitely want to make sure the next major area that we work on is speaking, okay? No question that's a skill set we must master, whether it's on video or it's live in front of people, right? Next major area that we need to work on is business, okay? And as I said, business is a black box that we work in initially for 6 months to 12 and then have the objective of getting out of it, scaling and get ourselves away from it, okay? Next major area that we should be working on is property. No question, property can make you wealthy. In fact, I believe that this skill set affects these 2 skill sets. Would you agree? Yeah. Right? If you know how to influence, you know how to sell, you know how to do marketing, that's going to make your business go better and certainly your property go better. How do I know that? Well, in my lifetime, I've bought 130 plus properties, okay? And one of my major belief systems about property, would you like to know what it is? Would you? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. My major belief system is you make money when you buy, not when you sell. You make money when you buy, not when you sell. What that means is I want to buy correctly. I want to buy with a discount, right? My discount is a minimum of 10%. But did I say I should buy at a discount? What did I say? I must buy at a discount, okay? Is there a difference between I should and I must? I will not buy a property unless I get a discount. Is everybody with me? Okay, 130 properties, average price $200,000, right? Let's just use 100. What have I bought in my lifetime in terms of property? 20 million plus. Is everybody with me so far? Right? And if I always get a 10% discount, how much have I made just on that one belief system and the skill of influence to negotiate? 2 million, right? How many people want 2 million in their future? Then you got to buy at a discount. Right? You got to buy a package, right? You got to buy. In fact, my goal is a 30% discount. I must get a 10% discount. My goal is 30%. So property, this skill, my belief in myself, the influence piece, absolutely affects these areas. Is everybody with me? So should you adopt the belief systems of successful people or unsuccessful people? Right? So make sure you're getting some of those belief systems with respect to it. Next major area that we want to work on is shares, right? Stock market, okay? If you have a skill set that can make you, literally 50%, 60%, 70%, 120% a year, is that a good skill set to master? In fact, who would like to have some insights into how to manage their money, how to maybe do some trades that are simple and easy that could take you from the average of 7% to 18% in less than 10 minutes? Would anybody like that? That's good, because I'm going to talk about that tomorrow, right? We talk about money mastery tomorrow, right? But shares, and there's simple things you can do, guys. And I got to give you a little hint here. If you're putting your money with a financial advisor, and there are good ones and bad ones, but if you're putting money with a financial advisor, they're putting it into a mutual fund, right? Or a fund, and 9 out of 10 mutual fund managers cannot beat the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is 500 stocks in the USA. 9 out of 10 can't beat the S&P 500. So why not just invest in the S&P 500? We'd beat 9 out of 10 mutual fund managers. Is everybody with me here? Would anybody like to explore that in more depth? Would you like to learn 3 or 4 strategies that you can do yourself? You don't need to have a money manager. You don't need to learn any complex things like candlesticks and charting and things of that nature, and literally double or triple your results in a very short period of time. If you would say, oh yeah. Oh, yeah. All right.
Wow, that was absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
What a session!
Yeah, it was great.
Jim, I know you absolutely love doing this stuff,
I
right?
do, incredible, yeah.
It
changes lives, right?
Changes lives. That was part 1.
Part 1,
There was
yes.
a part 2 coming.
Yep, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Thanks for tuning in. Watch part 2 now.